Welcome to Timeline Exploration. Join me for this day in history, June 2nd.
June 2nd, 455 AD, the sack of Rome. For 14 straight days, the group known as the Vandals began looting Rome of its treasures and wealth. Just who were the Vandals? This was an East Germanic people who were led by King Gaiseric. His reign would last from 428 to 477 AD. The Vandals originated in Scandinavia, and during the Late Bronze Age and early portion of the Iron Age, the Vandals would migrate to the southern Baltic coast, which is located in modern-day Poland. By the 5th century, the Vandals would settle in North Africa. What ultimately led the Vandals to carry out the sack of Rome on June 2nd, 455, was the assassination of Roman Emperor Valentinian III, and the severing of a peace treaty between Rome and the Vandal kingdom. After Valentinian III was murdered, Petronius Maximus seized control of the throne and forced his widow, Licinia Eudoxia, to marry him. Petronius also forced Eudocia, the daughter of Valentinian III, and Licinia Eudoxia, to marry his son Palladius. This action of canceling the betrothal between King Gaiseric's son Huneric and Eudocia is what ultimately led King Gaiseric to lead the charge of the Vandals to the sacking of Rome. This is where we get the term vandalism from. Pope Leo I was able to persuade King Gaiseric not to destroy the city or massacre the citizens. However, large quantities of treasure would be taken from Rome and transported to their capital city in Carthage, located in North Africa. After Petronius was killed on May 31st, 455, the Vandals forced Eudocia to Carthage, where she and the king's son Huneric would marry. This heavy blow to the Western Roman Empire would lead to its further breakdown and eventual collapse in 476 AD. June 2nd, 1835, P.T. Barnum would begin his first act as a showman. Barnum would go on to lease an enslaved woman by the name of Joyce Heth for $1,000 and advertise her to audiences as a 161-year-old former nurse of George Washington, though it was far more likely that Joyce Heth was around 80 years old. June 2nd, 1875, Alexander Graham Bell and his assistant, Thomas Watson, made a groundbreaking discovery by accident. During this time, not only was Bell an inventor, but he opened a school of vocal physiology and mechanics of speech in Boston a few years earlier in 1872. This was a school for the deaf, where Helen Keller was a student. Bell's original goal was not to invent the telephone, but to improve upon the telegraph. For decades, the telegraph was limited to only receiving individual messages, but Bell envisioned an upgraded device that could send multiple messages simultaneously. On June 2, 1875, while Bell and Watson were working on this new harmonic telegraphic device in two separate rooms, one of the reeds Watson was working on was wound too tightly around a pole, and the reed struck the electromagnetic device. When Watson struck the reed, it produced what sounded like a musical note. Bell heard this sound in the other room. Bell and Watson refocused their efforts to invent a way for voice transmission. Less than a year later, on March 10, 1876, Bell called Watson in the other room and spoke the first words by telephone. "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you."
Thank you for watching. Join us next time on Timeline Exploration.